multiple windows up. All right, we're live on YouTube. Hey guys, today we are going over the market, reading some comments, maybe doing a little DeFi, and we are answering requests. And I have started. Dan and Daniel are here. So we're going to go over things. The market has not been good. And I've been shorting some of the stuff happening in the market. Oh, whoa. Whoa, we got an issue with the video here. This happens when my video card is too cheap. So yeah, we're gonna get going. All right, so the market has been red, and I've been surviving the market by shorting the market, and it has been shorting newer launched coins that had big airdrops. So my most successful short recently has been Nilian, the project. We can go over that in a second, but if you have other things you're interested in, we can talk about that first. Uh, Also shorting Pi Network, which is still doing all right, but it didn't really move as much as like other projects in the recent dump. And I was also shorting Story Protocol IP. Now that's just because that one, I don't think that makes any money or real users or demand. So just things to consider. And let's bring up the comments as well. I really got to figure out a way to do this in a more professional way. So, Dan, what state do I live in? I live in Taiwan. It's a very uh, far from any state in the US, and things are good here. So, I short anything with an airdrop, and it works 9 out of 10 times. This is the way. This is absolutely the way, because if you have an airdrop, you're going to have people that want to sell that airdrop, and that causes the price to drop. So I made a video about that on that like a month ago. It only has a few thousand views, but it's been doing really well. That's been holding up my portfolio in these red markets. I haven't really made money because I haven't shorted enough. So I'm probably using like 10% of my portfolio to short, while 90% is still holding, and they're actually just balancing out. So that 10% is really making up for most of the markets. So let's see. I have a great idea for crypto. I want you to help me. I was like, oh, I mean, we could talk about it on stream if that's something, but it's really hard to execute these things. And maybe going to a hackathon would help and team up with people who do not have great ideas but know how to code things. Now, I've attended a few hackathons just to see what was going on. A lot of people are very set on finding ways to win the hackathon without building a project. And that's been one of the struggles for a lot of ecosystems where they host this hackathon, they have these rewards, and then people go dark. They like get that money and disappear. And a lot of the project ideas at these hackathons aren't great. They are they are rehashed ideas that already exist on multiple platforms that just provide a worse user experience and support. So, I mean, if you have an idea, I think hackathons are the way, and you just really have to sell your idea to these different developers. Canada, welcome. You've been doing well compared to your other North American brethren in the news. You guys have not made the dark side of the news, so good for you guys. All right, so yeah, I mean, we can get into a lot of different things. I think we should also cover some stuff on another video I did because some of the comments are pretty good on Pi Network, so I'm going to bring that up. I'm not really showing the video, but I do want to go over some of the comments because I did not provide great context. Now, these are all scams. I'm getting, you can't stop these comments. I'll tell you right now. Like, YouTube has had this problem for years. They're not making money trying to solve it. So here we go. Your research analysis and your video is biased. You're late already. So this is on Pi Network. Why I'm shorting it, why I'm bearish. It's fine. You know, it's obvious you don't know much here. Basher, you can still mine Bitcoin. Joepad. Always good to see Joepad. Pi is free. You know, there's no demand. People are mining it, they're getting money. I saw some comment about your research is really disappointing. Hopes your research are better on other projects. So my research was very lazy, and that's because I don't really want to read the white paper, and and that all really depends on market cap. So I'm gonna bring that up real quick. We're gonna look at Pi Network. Hold on, Pi, and like if the price is way too high, let's say 5 billion with a fully diluted valuation of 82 billion, and there's no demand for that, well, there's no point in reading the white paper. There's no point in doing like detailed research. This is like the number one indicator. I was like, all right, is it at a valuation where there's an opportunity for me to invest? If not, like, should I short it? And then we have to look at reasons why. We have to look at reasons that will drive demand. We don't really have to look at the white paper. We don't really have to do that much. We just need a fundamental understanding about it. And now, if this was at like 5 million, then it would be something to consider just because they have a large community. But when we're in the billions and you're competing against other blockchains that have a lot of innovation, that have a lot of users, developers, these growing ecosystems where they can fund growth themselves, that's where you go. It's just kind of, I guess, hard to articulate that. And if you're not that familiar with crypto, I get it. You want to believe in something and you want to be bullish. And that's how a lot of YouTube channels grow. They're very bullish on things. Now, I can't lie to you guys because that's not in me. Like to just be outrageously bullish and, cause you guys to lose money. But if my experience in crypto after like 8 years has taught me anything, it's that 99% of projects don't make it, and you should be shorting for the long term. So we have to really analyze how projects make money, how they want to exit, how marketers make money, how even KOLs, content creators make money, and how you make money. So it's like a very hard thing to navigate and survive. So that's what we want to do here. Can you check Vanry? Vanry current market cap 50 million, partnering with Wordplay and stuff. Yeah, I mean, market cap really doesn't matter. I used to invest in small market cap projects all the time. They didn't go anywhere. I'll tell you right now. Just because it has a small market cap doesn't mean it's going to have demand. So it really has to have some kind of driving force to go viral. Just because in the crypto markets right now, there's no new users. So you're competing for the same investments from existing crypto users, and they want to shield the bags that they already own. So it's really tough to stand out. So if you can tell me why Vanry is going to do that, we can take a quick look. You love some Zen though. I forgot what that is. So maybe I'll take a quick peek at coin market cap. It's really tough. Oh, maybe I'm looking at the wrong one. It's a $13 million market cap. Gonna avoid that, but we can talk about some other stuff. Since the first day you got involved in crypto, have you seen any project developments all the way to a fully polished, viable, functioning product that wasn't a scam or failure? Yeah, some projects, they just don't have the right product market fit. Obviously, Uniswap was a great success, but the token holders don't really receive anything. It's still all speculation. I think that might have changed with the recent Unichain thing, but that didn't move the needle at all. So it really depends on what you think will go up in price, and that's hard to determine. So I have really changed my opinion on investing in crypto. It's kind of like a marathon. You have to pick between several different projects that are going to make it through this marathon. And it's really hard to pick a winner because you don't know anything about these people, if they train for the marathon, if they have the experience, if they have the skills and mindset to make it through and survive long term so the coin can grow. Or you can pick the losers. You can pick who's going to lose this marathon. You look for the people who have no experience, who have high hopes, and that you can short. So that is my new strategy. You look at who's going to lose this marathon. And if you get a big airdrop from them, well, that's going to make it a lot easier. Now, I actually just got a big airdrop from Walrus. It was the biggest airdrop I've ever gotten, which was crazy to me. And the price has been going up since launch. So for the most part, it's great. It's the biggest market cap coin on Sui at the moment. And we're going to look at how to view the wall price this year. So Walrus is kind of like decentralized internet, decentralized storage. And viewing the price long term is very difficult because we don't know the demand yet. We do know that they have some existing competitors like Arweave and Filecoin, and I think a few others, but we don't know the demand. So it is kind of in the price range of like Filecoin, no, of Arweave at the moment. Filecoin is in the billions. So there is some room to grow there. There is some speculation, but we don't know the demand. So this one, we know that it's gonna survive in the marathon, but we don't know how it's gonna rank. So that's my thinking on Walrus. I do support what they're doing. I am staking some Walrus because it looks like there is going to be an airdrop. Anytime Adeni, one of the co-founders and loudest, most vocal people on X, talks about an airdrop or hints at it, there's an airdrop, and that's going to be a really big airdrop. He's done that with several of the projects before, so I'm going to be staking some wall to get access to that because the Walrus airdrop was pretty awesome. What is your opinion on wall memes? Is this, you mean just meme coins on Walrus? No, sweet, or just the Walrus token? If you're talking about memes on Walrus, I'm not familiar. As far as the Walrus token, I think it's going to have a lot of growth in the long term if crypto picks up. Because again, we're still in the same pool of users. So we want either to grow the pool of users or to get the existing users to invest in Walrus. So that is the same type of issue that a lot of projects struggle with, especially in crypto right now when the markets aren't positive. Because previous alt markets were incredibly easy. You'd pick any coin, you'd pick something with a small market cap. It does 10x. Maybe you exit, maybe you round trip back to zero. Things happen. But in previous altcoin cycles, it was so easy. You could pick almost anything and you do well. But that was in a very short term. Now, we haven't seen the same thing recently because new users aren't coming into crypto. There's money isn't flowing in, and I think even though regulation is looser, people don't believe in it. People don't have a reason to get involved. Now there are some things that are being built to make crypto easier and better experience for people. So we'll have to wait and see what the markets look like if crypto adoption starts happening. I hope you will continue to accept Sui's ecosystem in the future. Yeah, I'm going to Sui Basecamp, so I'm going to shill Sui Basecamp and my Sui cup that I got at Sui Basecamp in Singapore, which is this Yeti mug. And I don't use the cap, I just use this as a cup, and it's amazing. It's just like have cold water all day. So time to shill Basecamp. May 1 and 2 in Dubai, the days after token 2049. Now, if you're not familiar, it's a big crypto convention in Dubai. Token 2049 is one of the biggest crypto conventions. And then the day after that, we have Sui Basecamp, which is 2 days. And I went last year. They had the event in Paris. And it's pretty amazing that Sui, one of the newer ecosystems, can have a 2-day event talking about what they're doing, what they're building. So I'm looking forward to that. I had a great time. They always have really good merch. They have a very good user experience. So I think you'll hear a lot about that from other people that attend. And then we also got to talk about Token 2049. So I'm going to do a little shilling here. Token 2049, 30 days to go, on track to sell out amid record-breaking demand. It's happening at the end of May on April 30, May 1, bringing together 15,000 attendees from across the globe for an unparalleled festival experience. So yeah, you're going to see some shilling there. 10% off, full value 10. That's the code. Basically, I have to make a video shilling token 2049 because they gave me a free press ticket. So yeah, you're probably going to see this cut up in a clip. So I'm going to do this again full screen. Please excuse the shilling. But if you do attend, 10% off with that code. I think it's a great event. These events are fun. You meet a lot of interesting projects. You listened to a lot of like panels, a lot of different thoughts, and it's way different than watching it online because it's very difficult. So here's the shell. Oh, hey, Josh, you made it. But it says Kevin Ting. It says Kevin Ting on. I'm gonna upgrade you here right now.
If you don't mind, my bad.
Yeah.
Josh. Dashboard when I did my last interview with MetaMask there. Pardon me. I'm not Kevin, guys. I'm Josh.
Yeah. Updated. All right, hold on. We got to do a shill here. Token 2049.
Now I can't hear you all of a sudden.
Oh.
No, I cannot hear you. 1 minute. Maybe that's on my end.
Okay. All right. Well, while he's getting set up.
Can't hear anything.
Test. We're gonna walk through this.
Oh, I see why. I see why. It automatically switched to my AirPods because they're in my pocket.
How's that? Good? Too many L2s are diluting the crypto world. Absolutely short those L2s. You know no one's going to use it because there's too many. There's no demand for it. And everyone's going to where the activity is, and that's the bigger blockchain. So, for myself, I like Sui. Josh likes Barrett Chain. Solana is still really popular if you like gambling with meme coins, but it does have a very good user experience. I think Mega ETH is going to be very popular too in the near future. Oh, awesome. You got 2 screens up. Maybe we turn off this other one.
I have 2 screens up?
I see it on Riverside. Oh, it's just updated. All good.
Great. Okay, great. Sorry for the delay and sorry for the technical difficulties, guys. My bad.
Yeah, I see you got like several monitors up. I can see myself in the monitor.
You see yourself?
Yeah. I see from the monitor to your right.
Okay, you see this monitor here?
I do see that monitor. Yes.
From my view, that doesn't show up. I'm not sure of your view. Oh. From my view, that's like off camera, but I guess it's on camera.
Put Riverside full screen. You'll see it.
I just did on the screen that you're looking at.
I wonder if people can see it, but it's okay. It's all good. So while it's all good. It's all good.
Is that better?
A little self-reflection. Yeah, it's good. So while we're here, let's do a token 2049 Dubai shill because we have to, and we can use it as a clip. Token 2049 is coming up at the end of April 30 and May 1st in Dubai. It is one of the biggest crypto conventions out there. It happens in Dubai and Singapore every year. I went to both events last year. It was amazing. Full value 10 for 10% off. Join. I don't know. I had no pitch. That was it. I really
full value 10, guys. Yeah. These conferences are not cheap. Take your full value 10. Let me tell you, take your full value 10. Yeah. Because when I was just first getting started, that reminds me, I'm not going to be too long-winded with this one, but when I was first getting started in crypto, one of the most important things, get a community, get people around you, people that you talk to on a normal basis that are doing what you're doing, which is grinding the crypto trenches, trying to find, alpha and ways to really get acclimated in crypto and make some good money. Use full value 10 because let me tell you, getting a community around you, complete game changer. You find way more information, way more alpha. You feel way more confident navigating crypto. So if you are looking to get out there, get into these IRL events, meet people in crypto, use full value 10. Come to Token 2049 Dubai, which from my experience, I'm dropping a video tonight on my top 5 conferences. And spoiler alert, I got Token 2049 Dubai in my top 2. Okay, I won't tell you if it's 1 or 2, but it's been a total game changer for me as far as just getting crypto friends, doing deals, collaborations, just meeting people in crypto goes such a long way. So if you're on the fence about coming to an event like this, definitely I recommend you come and you use full value 10 to save some money because it's not cheap.
Awesome. And use Josh's code when he gets it. I think they're supposed to give you a code, by the way.
Will they?
Yeah, because they want you to promote it. So here's the backstory. Here's the KOL insider stuff.
Right.
basically we want press passes, and we don't want to pay like the $800 for the ticket. So we said we'll do press for the event, which we are going to cover, but leading up to it we have to create content shilling token 2049. Now it's all right if you don't
I
want
think I
to
had a
attend.
full on shill just there.
Yeah, you did. You did a great job of that. But I
Thank you.
want to like explain behind the scenes. This is just an obligation. You guys don't have to go. Hopefully they don't watch this a full stream and see this behind the scenes part, because we're just gonna cut it up to a short, put it on TikTok, and like, here you guys go. Where's my ticket?
Perfect. And that wasn't
Yeah.
even an obligation. I did that just natural. Because no, that's
Now,
real talk though. Get some crypto friends. It goes a long way.
yeah, and to be honest, I have a great time at Token 2049, Consensus, Taipei Blockchain Week. Those are my top 3 conferences. If you are a crypto fiend, it's worth going because it's going to be a good time.
100%. Yeah, man, I'm super fired up for that event. Not only because it's like another good crypto event and it's in a great place in the world, such as Dubai, but I get to be around some of my comrades, such as Dan, Full Value Dan. We had such a good time in
awesome.
TBW Electric Crypto event. If you're into networking, if you're into BD, definitely the place to be if crypto is what you do.
Yeah, so I mean, that's it. I don't really. I'm always a little uncomfortable shilling, but I am happy to promote Token 2049 because it is an amazing event. And yeah, if you are into crypto, you're going to have a good time. You're going to meet some amazing people. You're going to get a lot of perspective that they don't share. Like, I've met some VCs and they told me like what really happens. I met some market makers, some marketers.
Exactly.
I find out all the behind the scenes thing. And my perspective on crypto has really changed in the last year because of these events. So I understand how they make money off users, and how users can navigate that. So now I'm better prepared.
100%. And like Dan nailed it on the head there. Like, there's only so much you can digest from behind your screen. It's another layer once you're with these people in real life, because they're just people like you and I. At the end of the day, we're just people, right? There's cool people, there's genuine interaction, and they'll tell you what's really going on. Once you make friends with some of these people, and it goes a long way. Say, oh, this is really like this is really like that. You have one interpretation once you're just reading it off screen, and then it's another one when you're in real life digesting it that way. So definitely recommend coming through.
Absolutely, because most of like crypto Twitter, you get an algorithm that puts you in an echo chamber. You have one set of beliefs, and it's going to keep showing you that set of beliefs. You're going to just be in the bull market cycle of people like just super bullish as the market continues to go down, and you really want to understand, why is it going down? Is it going to keep going down? And what can you do to better invest against that?
100%. You couldn't have said it better. Once you're on Twitter, chances are, if you're seeing a post about a project by the project or by somebody who already has exposure in that project, you're going to see a bullish post. Chances are you're going to see, you're going to see it cater toward a certain perspective, towards a certain amount, towards a certain type of user, and you're not getting the full picture, right? You have a lot of the time a bull lens, a bear lens on what you're seeing, than getting like the full scope of what it really is. So definitely recommend getting boots on the ground and digging into what the projects are really about, right?
Absolutely. So yeah, the markets have been red. How have you been navigating these markets, Josh?
Oh, the famous saying, whenever you're getting into business or like, your passion, they always say, don't quit your day job.
Yeah.
They say, don't quit your day job. The people who say those sayings, right? It's the days like this that these are created. Don't quit your day job, right? I feel like right now weak hands are being shaken out. The same people saying, don't quit your day job. Weak hands are being shaken out in markets like these. Whether it's altcoin belief, a new layer 2, a new layer 1. Right now is where weak hands are getting shaken. So if you have good fundamental understanding about how crypto works, about what could potentially work for the future, now is the time that you're being tested, you're being tried, right? Your faith is being tested, right? Because nothing's going up, right? So it all boils down to fundamentals. It all boils down to relative strength. Right now, I'm really just sticking to my guns as far as my basic crypto fundamentals, crypto 101, and I'm sticking to my guns in that case. As far as layer twos, we got Sui, Solana, Ethereum.
Yeah.
I'm definitely making sure my exposure is in the ecosystems with relative strength. Right now, I feel like that's more important than ever. So it's not like when things are bullish, when we're in a bull run, in a bull market, in an alt season, pretty much most things are going up. Everything's relatively going up. When we're in a bear market, you actually have to go ahead and activate your fundamentals and what really matters in crypto. So right now, I'm making sure I'm consolidating to those narratives. I'm not panic selling, and I'm keeping strong with that stuff. How about you, Dan? What are you looking at right now in this red time?
I want to get into that in a second, but I want to build on what you just said. So
Okay.
Galactus Omega mentioned, I'm a big Linea fan myself, but just like other ecosystems, nobody is building, let alone anything original or of quality. Well, I think you got to get out of Linea. If you don't have development, if you don't have anything original, we know what's going to happen to it. So
hold on.
Yeah.
I want to do a quick timeout. You said you got to get out of Linea. That's what you're saying, and that we have to hear why.
That's what I'm saying. Yes, because they said clearly. I haven't looked into it, but if this is their impression of it, if their impression is nobody is building, there's nothing original or of quality there, it's just gonna get gutted. It's just gonna slow bleed to zero. That's what I think is gonna happen. I don't know that much about Linea myself, but if the impression from Linea bulls or people investing in Linea is that nobody is building, that there's just not going to be any growth. You just have to wait for a random bull cycle for it to pump, which is very tough to do.
The reason I called for that timeout and I had to hear Dan's deeper thoughts, guys, is because if y'all didn't know, anyone watching right now, Linea, the blockchain, was created and is made and founded by Consensus, which is the company that owns and is behind MetaMask, right? And as we all know, MetaMask is pretty much, not even pretty much, MetaMask is the biggest Web3 wallet in crypto and has been for the longest time. And has been for a long time. They've dominated that wallet space. They've made billions of dollars, I'm sure, in fees and in revenue. They're worth billions of dollars as a company. And that's why I wouldn't fade it. The same way a lot of users who are OGs, they say they'll never fade Base as a blockchain. I feel very similar sentiment towards Linea as a blockchain because of their underlying companies and their underlying entities that control and go ahead and govern these ecosystems and these chains. Sure, Linea is boring. I'll even make the argument that Base is a little bit boring as of right now, but cannot be ignored what they're derived from and what they're building, right? When you talk about retail and you talk about users and just the masses, the people, the numbers, the users, I feel like Linea, or rather Consensus and MetaMask, has a huge monopoly on a lot of the users, just regular users in Web3. And similar sentiment with Coinbase and Base, right?
That's true. They do have access to a lot of users.
Exactly. Because of that, because of that alone, I'm not fading personally. Things that might pop up on that.
I mean, that's what is the driving force of Base. Basically, they have access to their centralized exchange users, and that they can pivot them into the blockchain, to being on chain. So I guess Linea also has that opportunity. We just need to see some funding. We got to see some original building there. We got to have a reason to go there. I think that's what I think is going to drive demand. Even though they do have that established presence out there, we've also seen failed chains by KuCoin, by Wobi, all these other like smaller exchange blockchains. So even though they do have access to those users, it's still very difficult to drive demand and to differentiate.
You nailed it on the head. That's a fair point. Okay, so that being said, a blockchain, I know that you are bullish on Sui. A blockchain, like let's
Yes.
say on Sui's level, they have the rapport, the track record, they have the tech, everything like that. They have the users as well. Why would you say someone should go to Sui over a chain like Linea, both of which, as I mentioned, are pillars as far as where they come from, right? Why should someone go with Sui over, let's say, Linea? What's that differentiating factor?
User experience. I would boil it all down to user experience. It's just a much better user experience when it comes to like EVM versus Move. Basically, you don't have all these extra clicks. You don't have the risk of sandwich attacks where if you are trading on DeFi or you just get wrecked on a trade, you don't have these wallet drainers where if you approve a transaction on this platform and that platform's contract gets hacked down the line and you forgot to reject that contract later, yeah, you don't get drained. So I think just user experience in general is much better for people. We don't see the same level of hacks and attacks on Sui that we see on other EVM chains. So I think user experience is the biggest driving factor.
Is that because of the Move VM?
Yes.
Is that because of the Move VM? That's a better guardrail from things like sandwich attacks and those, phishing links and such?
Absolutely.
Wow. So you get better security over on Move VM versus your classic EVM.
So that's where my long-term thoughts are. Like, all right, if you have better security, a lot of the TVL is going to start drifting that way. We've seen all these attacks. Yeah, we've seen all these on-chain attacks that are happening that people are taking advantage of. And people are going to want to go to a safer place that provides a better experience and to a chain that continues to innovate like Sui. Right now, they just launched Walrus, which is their decentralized storage system. Basically, you can have these decentralized websites and more. So I think it's going to start fueling a lot of innovation.
It makes sense. Have you played around? Side question: have you played around with your Sui Play? Your Sui Play? It's
so
like a gaming handheld.
Yeah, I bought two. Now the funny thing is,
you got two.
I bought two of them.
Real quick, can you tell the community why you bought two instead of one? You only got two. You only got two hands, not four, Dan. Why'd you buy two? Move.
I want one in the living room. I want one in the office.
But it's a handheld.
No, I know. I'm kidding. That's not why. I bought two because if you were one of the first 1,000 or 1,500 user or buyers, you got the Mythic NFT, which provides better airdrops. So that's the only reason. I probably would have bought more, but I bought two.
Full value, Dan. I won't say he's a cybo, but he's maximizing his exposure. He's maximizing his exposure. Better said.
Now the problem is when I bought it, Sui was at like 60 cents. It dropped, and you could only buy it with Sui. You could not buy it with a credit card. And I bought it with my Sui, and I did not rebuy Sui after that. So technically, I missed out on like at least with the current prices, a 4 or 5x. So one of those devices I could have got 4 or 5 today with, but I got the NFT. I was early, so you got to think about it that way too.
Yeah, count your blessings. Count your blessings. Count your blessings. Very nice. Very nice. Very nice. No, it's been huge, and it's been huge having Dan just in-house as a friend, as a Sui maxi. As I was telling you guys about going out to conferences and expanding your network, very important. Okay, but let me not dive too far away from my original question. So we're going back to, why would somebody go with, let's say, Sui versus, let's say, a Linea or a Base? All have very strong pillars of fundamentals of very strong pillars of foundation, rather, as far as user base, as far as adoption, as far as exposure, distribution, things like that. Why Sui's anywhere comparable or better even than, let's say, basis, Coinbase or MetaMask Linea?
Well, as you mentioned earlier, you also look at the factors like where's the activity, where's the users. All the users are on the bigger chains because they have more activity, they have better products, and they're going to get a better experience there. If you're on a smaller chain with no activity, it's going to be tough. Even though it's a smaller market cap and you're like, oh, well, if this is only 100 million and then these other ones are at like 10 billion, I was like, oh, I got a big 100x opportunity coming. Well, we've learned the hard way as crypto investors in the long term, like that just doesn't happen.
Right.
People want to gravitate to where the party is. You want to go to a party with like 3 people or like 300 people?
Right. Fair say.
Mm-hmm.
Fair say. Okay. So what would you say for the next, I won't say quarter, but for the rest of 2025, where would you place most of your chips as it stands today? We know new things can come out tomorrow. We know crypto moves fast, but as it stands today, 2025, March of 2025, end of March, what are you looking at? This is the end of Q1, by the way. This is the last 3 days of Q1. What ecosystems, what coin, what are you most bullish on for the rest of the year? You said shorting, but let's hear.
Yeah, so I earlier in the stream I mentioned my way of thinking for these investments in cryptocurrency has really changed, where it's really hard to pick the winner. It's like going to a marathon with like 100 people and you don't know these people at all, and they all say they can finish this marathon, and you're looking at some of them and you're listening to their plans, you're looking at their shoes, you're looking at their size, and like, I don't think this person can finish this marathon. So you kind of have to imagine like, all right, who's going to make it? That is very hard to determine, but it is very easy to determine who's not going to make it. So my new investment strategy is bet on who's not going to make it.
Honestly speaking, like if you're seasoned in crypto at all, this actually sounds like just pure genius, right? Because more projects, not the strong majority, I'm talking about 97, 98% plus go to the dirt as far as price action, right? They lose 99% plus of their value in a very short amount of time. And that's the story for many ecosystems, many tokens that have Kool-Aid drinkers, that have cult communities, right? So to be honest, go on.
Yeah, I wanted to propose this challenge, and it'd be fun to have like some other creators in it where we all pick 5 cryptocurrencies to short, and maybe we just do 1x, no leverage, just 1x, and we see who performs the best like in a month.
Ooh, I got pie. Right? I got pie.
We can overlap. We can overlap. We can overlap.
I call pie. I call pie.
Has been great this last month if you've been shorting it. Now, I know some people have been mad, like in my comments about the pie video I did. They're like, oh, you didn't do enough research in this. And
it's Kool-Aid drinkers, man.
It's Kool-Aid drinkers. We know where the price is going. So if you're at like the billions of valuation and you don't have that demand, but you have that large community, that price is still going down. But if you're at a 5 billion market cap and you have that large community, that price is likely going up. So it really comes down to demand and the valuation.
Demand plus valuation. I won't lie. Pie's community is like quite passionate. I'm not sure if you've actually have you met the true Pie Maxi, Dan? Have you met
I've seen some in the comments.
Oh, you see some in the comments?
Yeah, and when you say something negative about a project, you kind of have to be very delicate about it, because people are going to be mad, and I get it. You're invested in it, and it's an emotional investment. You don't want your investment to go down. So saying something about it, they're negative, you have to approach it in a very delicate way, or you get a lot of hate. So I tried to do that, but obviously I did not do a great job.
It's not easy. It's because it's a balancing act, right? Because you know the fundamentals. You understand how the game goes. I mean, there's a lot of new users. Some of the biggest cult members may be newcomers to crypto overall as a whole, right? And you have to understand that it's different. There's different fundamentals. The country of China, the entire country, the government actually went ahead and coined Pi as a full-on scam targeting the elderly, right?
Mm-hmm.
They put out a whole post on that. They put out a warning, say, hey, this is targeting the elderly. And then on the flip side, you have users who are cult members and diehard fans of this community and this initiative and this wave pie, right? So it's a tough balance. It's a tough balance, right? So you can't please everybody, but you have to stand firm. And all we can do is give out the best information based on what we know about crypto and how it works, right?
So we know that it's at a very high valuation compared to projects that have more utility. We know that there is no real demand for it, and we know that the price has been going down. So if we look at all three things, the signal is short, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the writing's on the wall, but it may not look like that for most people, for everybody, right? So I encourage all of you out there, understand tokenomics, understand, market caps, valuations, and utility, and product market fit. Is this actually something real? What even is Pi, right? Ask somebody that question. Can you answer that? If you're a Pi Maxi listening, can you answer that? What is it?
And not just what is it, what's going to make it valuable. That's the biggest thing.
Exactly. That's what I mean, pretty much. Where is the value here? I believe one of the main propositions was like the first crypto you can mine on your phone. Oh.
Yeah. So
what's the next sentence?
One of the comments I got was like, you didn't even read the white paper. I'm like, I'm not going to read the white paper. The white paper is just empty promises. And this is something you learn in crypto investing, that like actions speak louder than words. That's just what it is.
Yeah, that's literally how it is. Actions speak louder than words. You see all kinds of white papers, websites, descriptions, all that stuff. But really, what value are they bringing? What are you actually using that token for, right? Easier said than done.
Absolutely. So yeah, that's just my strategy. I've been shorting also Story Protocol, and it's been surviving. And I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. So typically
another cult.
Yeah, they I don't know if the cult's that strong, because they get flamed in some of their comments, which I love. I'm probably gonna make another video on that soon. But it's been a month and a half since their launch. Typically, big projects can do 3 to 6 months of marketing after their launch. So I'm thinking like those market makers are going to give up soon, and that's when I come in.
Yeah, Story Protocol. I remember their launch being talked about and hyped around the same time as Barry Chain. And I was like, ooh, like what's this next one? I didn't know. I've heard about Story. Wasn't involved. Didn't try to farm their airdrop or anything like that or get involved. But it was really being talked about. It was talked about in the same sort of comparison level as like something like Bear Chain. Do you have exposure in Story, or I'm not sure how long you knew about Story? And is it something that is like that? You think it's a contender to stand? I know you're shorting, but you think it could stand among the top layers?
No, I don't, because they raised too much money. Number one, they raised too much money. And the second thing is there isn't any demand. I know it's like a project like, IP. People can't steal your IP if you register on this chain, but they can't steal it if they use it on that chain. If they use it anywhere else, that's fine. It's like saying you're on Facebook and you're on their IP and you post something about Zuckerberg. It's like, well, they can't do that unless they pay utilities on this platform. But if they say something about Zuckerberg on any other platform, then it's okay. So I don't think there's enough demand. That hasn't been a significant problem where people, want to pay to solve that. They don't want to invest in that, and when you consider the movie industry where they deal with hundreds of billions of dollars and that gets pirated, you just can't stop it. There's no way to stop it.
Fair say. All right. Well, yeah, I mean, anytime there's new L2s, they're going to propose some sort of unique value proposition. At the end of the day, majority of L2s, if not all L2s, pretty much do the same thing as it stands right now. To be honest, can you name an L2 or even an app chain, a layer that goes ahead and does something specific differently that you're only getting this on that chain? That's actually a question, to be honest, that I have to ask to any
Yeah, that's a fair
blockchain
question.
founder. What is your chain actually doing different? They all offer cheap fees, fast transactions, blah, blah, blah. We hear that every single day. It's getting tired saying that.
Yes.
Why is all these
So
different? You got Sonium up right now. You know,
yeah.
salute to Sony. Even Sony
So
themselves, what's their chain doing so different?
so Sonium is working with some projects to launch IP on chain, like actual intellectual property, and they're doing
Damn,
that
seven
with
deadly
anime.
sins.
7 Deadly
What?
Sins. They're
Where
launching
you
a
at, Azuki?
collection sponsored by Sonium, which is working with like these studios. So I'm excited about this because Sonium actually has these connections and can make things happen rather than speculating about it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, of course, when it comes to
I miss it
Sony,
though, I think. Yeah.
yeah,
I think I
that
missed the
sounds
mint.
like a miss. Did you get the Sonium testnet NFT?
I did not. I've been too inactive, but that's fine because I did well with the Walrus airdrop, and
Yeah, you did.
that was my biggest airdrop. That was my biggest airdrop.
Congratulations.
Thank you, thank you. So
Congrats.
I think the Sonium airdrop will be okay, but it's not going to be like 4 figures.
You don't think it'll be 4 figures?
I don't think it's going to be 4 figures. Sony, this is a corporation. They're like, we got to give money away. We're not going to do that. I feel like they're going to be very budget, but it's because they can do that because they have the name.
Fair to say. But they also got the means to deliver a big one if need
They
be.
do.
New Frontier definitely have the means. I don't know. I don't know what to think about that. I can't give like a. I could be like a hopium bull, but I'm not gonna do that. As far as Sonium goes, as you can see, it's a new frontier, but at the same time, I guess it's kind of been done as far as like big brands getting involved in Web3. I don't think we've seen it to the scale of an entire chain initiative. Like we had Artifacts dropping their NFT back in the day, which was like from Nike, right? And different things like that.
Oh, yeah. That didn't go anywhere. That didn't go anywhere.
Yeah, no. But a whole chain, I think can be very interesting. And if they kind of like shake up the markets or shake up at least the headlines with like a massive airdrop, could be a very, very interesting play. Clearly, they're already doing very interesting things, working with already huge brands to bring them on chain. Very interesting. I think this is actually the first taste of some real big brand, real crypto integration that we're seeing as far as a whole blockchain getting involved and bringing big brands on. Interesting. Where do you put this in your scale? If we were to place on a 1 to 10 scale of how hot or if this has any merit, where are you putting this?
For Sonium?
Yeah.
Oh, I feel like it's
1
hot.
to 10.
Like, this is like, I'd say it's like an 8.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to be skeptical too, but I think this is an 8 because if they can bring IP on chain and like, all right, we even have this comment here. Sony owns Crunchyroll, so it makes sense they can do stuff with crypto and anime.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I didn't know Sony owned Crunchy.
Yeah. So if this opens up a lot of potential, we don't know what it can do yet, but it opens up a lot of potential. If this IP and mint goes really well, we could probably see other anime franchises on chain. We could see trading card games on chain. We could see a lot of things. So I'm just speculating, but I think this can open the door to a lot of things.
Damn. Did not know this.
Yeah.
Did not know this. See, now Sony is a true behemoth in the business world. It's a true powerhouse because you got Sony, of course, Sony PlayStation, right? One of the pillars of gaming. I didn't know Sony owned Crunchyroll, which is honestly where I watch all of my anime.
Yeah, same here.
You
I
got
downloaded
Sony
a bunch of stuff. Yeah.
Exactly. You got Sony Music, right?
You got all their electronics.
You got Sony Entertainment. It's insane. So like just their resources, their reach is just unmatched. It's like a unicorn. Yeah. It's a true unicorn in business. And so to have that come on chain into our domain into what we do.
Yeah,
Like I'm
imagine
surprised,
like
Dan, you're not trying to have max exposure in Sonium, just for those things. One thing is important to note: you're not a Kool-Aid drinker, but something as
I try
big
to
as
be
Sonium,
skeptical. Yeah, yeah.
something as big as Sonium. How much time and effort and attention are you giving something like this?
Not enough, not enough. But I am watching it, so if this goes well, I could definitely see more campaigns, more anime on chain. You know, a lot of these anime artists don't make a lot of money. So they're going to want to bring their stuff on chain. They're going to want to sell their art. They're going to want to get more exposure to it. So that could open the doors. We don't have that yet. But Sony could be onboarding a lot of their users just because they have such broad reach. They have such a large ecosystem. So I'm bullish on Sonium. But again, since they have so much reach, so much pull, they're not going to be as generous with the airdrops, I think. That's just what I think.
Yeah, I mean that's fair to say, especially because the dilution and just the amount of
Mhm.
sheer users that know about Sonium, and everything like that. I think it could be a sleeper. My eyes have been opened a bit. Honestly speaking, I haven't done enough work and exposure getting involved with Sonium ecosystem. However, now I'm definitely gonna make sure I take some extra time to go ahead and do that. Seeing
Yeah,
some of
maybe
these things I'm seeing.
we gotta get on their social media. So they have a social media platform called Yay. It's a Japanese social media site that's part of the Sonium ecosystem. Most things
Hmm.
are in Japanese. So like I have not set up a presence here yet just because like the majority of users here are Japanese. But you know,
Right.
Binance is on here already. They're putting ads out. They have things like spaces where it's like these large group calls, and you know they have these anime fan groups. They have a lot of different groups here. But yeah, I gotta grow my presence on here to be well positioned for the Sonium ecosystem.
Yeah, no, seems so. Damn. Okay. Now, what are your thoughts on some of the other anime initiatives in crypto? Should they
Like
pack it
anime
up?
coin?
Exactly.
Yeah, pack that up. Pack that up. Like we have the actual anime chain here. Nothing's gonna. I mean, you know, people love Azuki. It's a strong community, but if
Right.
you bring like Web 2 users on chain, that's gonna be the most valuable community.
Yeah, can't lie, can't lie. If the Crunchyroll viewers, the Crunchyroll
Hmm.
audience, Web3, Web2 users. When you're talking about Web2, Sony PlayStation 5, that's Web2. You guys know
Hmm.
how
Hmm.
big of market share Sony has, and for them to have that plug and play, um, resource at their disposal, I think Sonium is definitely a new blockchain to watch. You hear about new
Hmm.
blockchains all the time. When what was that one? Oh man, ETH restaking. When you hear that, what's that number one
Oh,
blockchain that comes to
EtherFi?
mind?
Oh no, not
EtherFi was
blockchain.
before
Mantle.
that.
Mantle does that too. A lot of them do ether restaking.
Not that.
Oh, EigenLayer.
EigenLayer.
That
Thank
went to
you.
zero. No demand. No
That
one
went
wants to
to
use that.
Bro, when EigenLayer was first popping out, trust me, because I was in the airdrop
Yeah.
community, the airdrop hunting community. EigenLayer was talked about like it was like the LeBron James of airdrops, the
Right,
LeBron James of
dude.
new crypto. And look at it now.
I
The
remember.
core team themselves is calling their current concept and roadmap a meme. And this was what was looked at as the next LeBron James of crypto, right? That goes to
Yeah.
show. That goes to show, right? So as far as new blockchains to look forward to be honest, a lot of it is like technically EigenLayer was vapor, according to the team.
Yeah.
Was vaporware. What they were putting together was vapor.
But
Vapor.
they sold it well. I think it's still going to keep dropping. There's just no demand for this.
Oh, there's no demand. There's no
Yeah.
demand. They're trying
And
to
they lost their
change up
moment.
what they are.
Hmm.
They're trying to even change what they are. They don't know their identity when it comes to crypto. So, to be honest, with all this being said, I feel like it's like a full circle moment. There was a point where like brands in Web3, you got community or celebrity coins, stuff like that. Nobody's trying to see that. But Sonium, I'm actually going to make sure I have some exposure in, and I'm locking in with the things building up underneath that, because now may be the actual time.
Yeah, I retweeted this one video where this girl interviewed people doing this Eigen hackathon and asking people what Eigen is, and no one could explain it. It was hilarious. I thought it was an SNL sketch, just because it was hilarious. I'll probably make a video about shorting and include that video in there when I find it.
Yeah, no, it's ridiculous. Okay. So top 3. Okay, so let me dial it back one more time. Then top 3 plays for 2025. What would you do? Your top 3 plays. We got shorting. You had that at number 1 because a lot of stuff is going to zero.
Shorting is the most valuable thing. I'd say don't use any leverage if you aren't familiar, or if you don't want to track any news. I'd say just use 1x, just no leverage, and take the 20% or 50% spot wins, just because that's a very safe bet in my personal opinion, and not financial advice. I think it's a safe bet. I have been shorting, and I'm going to be making more videos on that, because we know 99% of cryptocurrencies fail, and we've just been playing the wrong game. You know, we've been playing the wrong direction in this game.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I mean, you know, crypto is funny. Like, it changes so quickly. New trends, new narratives, new fads pop up and die, like in a blink of an eye, right? But like even the Studio Ghibli, right? It's I'm sure it's flooded your timeline, right? See how fast that came on, how fast that died. 2 days before that, or the very day before that, we had Saratoga water, right? With the routine guy. We had the routine, right? Gone. Right? It comes and goes so quick. I can even probably mention like 5 to 10 that, like, oh, you remember, but it's like you also forgot because of how quick it came and gone. Chill Guy, right? We had Chill Guy not long ago, and all the spin-offs that came from that, right? Donald Trump's ear got shot. I'm not going in any chronological order, right? But there are so many memes and narratives and things that came that doesn't even last a week. Some things will last just a few days. As big as the routine guy, he had like billions of views on X, right? He had his hot 2-3 days. It's probably still hot maybe on like Instagram and like the ripple effect. But you see how fast these narratives come and go, right? And do you have a plan for those sort of things? When you see like a new thing pop up in crypto, do you get involved, or are you or you're asking to get wrecked? If you're late, you're asking to be like,
just always be late, because then you can, you know, take a broader view of what's happening. If this trend is dying, it's like, okay, easier to avoid. Maybe you want to short it, but in crypto, it's dangerous to be early. That's where most people lose money.
Wow, dangerous to be early, but also most to be made if you're right when you're early.
That's true. But now we've kind of learned that if retail isn't coming in, like, you know, new users, that the only people that are early are these cabals, like these insider groups, and it's just maximum extraction from like other crypto
always
investors.
Early,
right?
They're always
so
early.
That's why I was like, all right, well, maybe I'll just wait for the opportunities where I have more certainty.
That's fair to say, and that's always a good way to play it. As far as, you know, have the most security, have the most assurance in your plays and in your moves, right? Because a lot of these fads come and go very quickly. Do you have any word of advice for some of the new users coming into crypto, getting excited at some of the new narratives, thinking they're going to get rich? Let's say it's still early, I don't know, AI agent season or meme season, whatever it is. What would you tell them to keep a good head on their shoulders?
The hardest thing to learn in crypto is perspective. You want to be bullish because you want to get rich. You're going to listen to anyone that tells you you're going to get rich. And I get that. As a content creator, I notice that the videos that will do well are the ones that are promising to make you rich. But in reality, it's just going to give you a false sense of it's just going to give you a false idea of what's going to happen in the market, where it's not as easy as just buying a coin, waiting a week, and then being rich later. That just doesn't happen. It happens for a few people, but it does. Most people
Yeah.
lose money.
Yeah, that's the thing. And with content creation, I guess, we have that responsibility to go ahead and push what's real and give users, it's better off to give them a good mindset of how to actually
Yeah.
navigate the markets, right, than to get too hyped. There's a lot of Kool-Aid in crypto. It goes hand in
Right.
hand. There's a lot of Kool-Aid, and when I say Kool-Aid, for you guys that don't know what I'm talking about, it's a little bit of a lingo. If you're drinking the Kool-Aid, means you're getting drunk on whatever they're selling you, the narrative, the words that they're saying. We're for Pi Network, for example, their Kool-Aid that they're serving is that we're the first crypto that you can mine on your phone. This was built for
That's
noobs. This was
yeah.
built for noobs.
Yeah. It's just okay. Well, what value? What value is there? Who's building on there to buy the coin to secure something with the mining power of phones?
Exactly. And that's what we mean by Kool-Aid. If you're reading that long enough, you're digesting that long enough, you don't know enough about crypto, you're going to be like, oh, that sounds good. Like, oh, that makes sense. People who were mining Bitcoin back when they came out, they're all rich, right? Now I can just do it on my phone. They needed to buy some computer, right? And then before you know it, you're down on this rabbit hole, right?
Yeah.
And then you've convinced yourself, they've convinced you that this is the next new wave, the next frontier of where this technology is going. And then you're going to end up putting your hard-earned money into it and even more and even more. And then before you know it, that's when you do something like I just said, drink the Kool-Aid. So that's what I mean when I say don't drink the Kool-Aid.
Absolutely. Accurate. I don't know. Maybe we should shift our content creation to just reacting to videos that promise to make you rich. Maybe we should be the short influencers. Like, yeah, man, that's a terrible idea. Don't do that. This guy's lying to you. This guy is lying to you.
There's probably a better win rate doing that than saying, buy this now, it's going up forever. 100%. Not probably. There is better win rate doing that. So yeah.
Actually, that'd be a great video. Like, all right, we'll look up what different 100x videos that we can short, and we'll short them for 1 month. Here's how we did.
And the thing is, chances with that, like, there's always gonna be a time to make a reference video where, like, I told you to short this.
Yeah.
Like, because most things go down 90%.
Yeah.
Even the pillars of crypto, Bitcoin and Ethereum, see 30+% drawdowns in a short span. In certain market conditions, right? So
now hold on. Before people call me out, because they will call me out. My opinions on crypto has changed a lot. Now, early on, I was making videos because, like, I believed in tokenomics, I believed in these different projects, but I drank the Kool-Aid. Opinions can change very quickly because people don't deliver on the things they promised you. So if you see all these promises and you believe it, you make content on it, and that's what you do as a creator. Because, like, all right, I want to share what I'm investing in because I believe in it. But as you grow and have these different perspectives, you start to see things that don't work because over time you realize these all went to zero. So I only say this as someone who has that experience. I see new creators saying things that are very bullish, and I get it. Maybe they don't have that perspective and experience yet. But when I see creators that have been around for at least 5 years still doing the same thing, I'm like, you're I know you're shilling. I know what you're doing here. You're doing false promises and you're dumping on your followers.
Yeah, that's not honorable at all. And that's not honorable at all. So no, honestly, kudos to you for stepping up and saying that. That goes a long way, because I mean we're all learning in crypto as far as the market changes rapidly, right? Rapidly. Something that was incredibly hot yesterday may not be the same case today. Something that was purely dead yesterday, chances are not, but can end up being something that's hot today, right? And that's just the name of the game. That's just the name of the game. So as we always say, and that's why we say not financial advice, make sure you do your own research. Don't drink the Kool-Aid too hard. Always, always, always never invest more than you're willing to lose. And make sure you are doing your due diligence on every single project that you're putting your hard-earned money to.
And, minimize your risk, because you could be doing due diligence, but if you're like in an echo chamber where everyone's saying something positive, it's not going to be good. Sometimes you have to look at the comments and you might get some better insights to why
Yeah,
something's good or bad, and that'll really
yeah,
help you out.
100%, 100%.
So,
Definitely bring that microscope.
absolutely. So let's take a look at a couple comments, and we'll see what we can answer. Anime,
Okay,
awesome. Sonium is going to be 10 out of 10 when GTA 6 drops.
I think so
Many
too.
companies have been making big moves in 2020, acquiring all sorts of businesses. It's rumored you can earn crypto by playing. That's probably why Sonium was created. Maybe we can start with a bull run. Need some money printing. Yeah, the markets are looking really bad right now, and I don't think they're going to change anytime soon. Between Solana and Sui, which one would you be picking for staking long term? Long
Mm.
term, obviously, this is going to sound very, very
Moon boy,
biased,
moon
just
boy
because
incoming, moon boy
I'm
incoming,
literally drinking the sweet Kool-Aid right now.
moon boy.
Obviously, I think my shirt is also blue, so I don't know. I don't know
You
what I'm
got the
gonna
Suey
pick.
juice box.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna pick. That's really tough. That's a really tough choice to pick between Sui and Solana. I'm not gonna say anything. I can't pick anything right now. So we'll have to wait and see and guess like what happens in the market. But if we're
Yeah,
looking at fundamentally, Sui has a capped supply, where Solana doesn't, and so that just means unlimited inflation forever. But it depends. Like, are these blockchains really going to be around forever? Could things change in the future? Absolutely. So it all depends on the demand and innovation. And I see a lot of innovation happening on Sui, but I see the die-hard community on Solana. So
they got
I
a
think
strong
both, yeah,
community.
absolutely. So, strong community attracts a lot of developers that want to build for that community. You have a small chain that doesn't have a lot of users. Developers don't want to go there. They don't want to attract like the 100 daily users there. They want to have
It's
a
true.
successful project.
100%, 100%. And when you're talking about Sui versus something like Solana, like, people may feel comfortable with Solana because it has the market share right now, it has a volume right now. But
Mhm.
Sui, if you're trying to get ahead of the curve, if I'm a forward thinker, I'm actually choosing Sui to stake. I'm actually choosing to position myself and get set up with what's next. Crypto is a lot of the time what's next. It's a new industry altogether. It's a
Mhm.
new industry. Who's building the next best, fastest, newest, coolest, hottest innovation, the sexiest?
And
And you want to get if you already heard about it, if you're getting into Soul, chances are if you got into the Soul casino that you're getting in now or you're getting in just a few months ago, you're not early to Soul. Soul dipped as low as $9 in the bear market. Those people are the ones who ate. You're not seeing Sui volume or Sui hype the same way you're seeing Soul right now. So you want to go ahead and position yourself in advance for what's next. And a strong case that could be Sui. And they
yeah,
have like the fundamentals and foundation to really pull that off. So if I was placing my chips, I would go Sui personally.
now one
For
more
us
thing to
both answering
mention.
that question.
There's Sweet Base Camp coming up, and we're gonna be there. We're gonna be interviewing
Yeah,
people. Hopefully, we can do a live stream if it's not too crazy as far
yeah,
as like interference from other connections and Wi-Fi. But
yeah.
yeah, please look forward to that stream because
That's gonna be
we'll,
electric.
we'll answer questions, and you can ask questions to other people we'll be interviewing there. So that should be fun.
I think that's gonna be really, really electric. To be
Hmm.
honest with you, whether we have a setup, um, sort of podcast booth like we had at Taipei Blockchain Week, or if we're just doing things on the fly, definitely worth paying a look. Because if you guys were watching our live stream last time that we were together IRL in Taipei at Taipei Blockchain Week, you may have noticed a Bitcoin Solana project that we said we were locking in with right there and then and buying. We said we were buying, and what had happened with that, Dan?
It went up 100% that day, and we didn't buy because we were busy filming and doing all these other
Yeah, we
things.
were busy filming, so
Yeah.
it was too bad because like anyone who heard us say that, like they got the fruits from it. I'm sure it's probably potentially even higher now. I heard about it when I was
It's
in Denver separately.
it's about the same. It's back to like its low point.
Okay,
but
but
but I
very
think
solid
that's
play.
yeah, but I think it's because there's more competitors in the Bitcoin space now for on-chain stuff. But he gave us that alpha. He said later today we're announcing this, and that was on our stream. So if you played the stream and you invested, you would have done really well.
Yeah, if you were listening live. And so that's the thing with conference energy a lot of the time
They saved
versus
their
just alpha.
announcements for that day. Yeah.
Exactly. Conference energy, like I'm saying, versus like scrolling through CT. You're getting stuff really raw a lot of the time. Sometimes like projects would have been building for months, even years, gearing up to let out an announcement that may actually fall on deaf ears a lot of the time. So talking to
Hmm.
these founders and these builders in person to like, hey, we're doing this. It's like, okay, time to buy. You kind of can clock in on some alpha before it actually lands with the
Yeah.
user. And I feel like that's what took place in a big way with that. And
Absolutely.
so
And
yeah,
now I'll be
I
ready.
definitely
Now I'll be ready.
yeah. So definitely to you guys watching, stay tuned for our stream over in Dubai during Dubai Blockchain Week, especially over at Sui Basecamp, where we're going to be
Mhm.
interviewing founders one by one, handpicked, seeing our favorite projects, pulling them aside, doing interviews, getting updates, and seeing some of the best places to position ourselves within the Sui ecosystem, which peeling back the layer again, we're seeing as that next potential Solana. And you guys know the vibe of Solana today, the trenches, right?
Yeah.
This could potentially be the new frontier. Position yourself early. You can catch us getting that alpha in real time, in real life, right?
And same thing for Token 2049. So be sure to go to Token 2049 to buy. Feel free
Yeah.
to say that too, so we can clip that, and then you got a short.
Full value 10.
Oh no. Your pitch for Token 2049, because I know you got to post something for
Oh,
your
100%.
requirements. Yeah.
I appreciate that. You already got one right there. Token
Yeah.
2049, guys. Pull up. I already have some stuff on that clip for the thing, but um, go ahead, and it's the biggest event in crypto of pretty much the entire year, besides maybe Token 2049 Singapore. I like the
Yeah.
Dubai version, and hope to see you all there, man.
All right, we got a couple more comments and we'll wrap it up. I did not, full value Dan, did not get the Sonium badge because you did not do 50 transactions on the Sonium chain. Absolutely true. I probably did like 8. Eddie Live, what's up? You guys remember crypto is short term, not long term. That's true. We're here for a good time, not a long time. Yeah. Let's see. Catching big time. What do you think of the Safe Foundation buying 23andMe? Now, I wasn't familiar with this, but I believe that's a DNA testing company, right? Is that now? I know Say has also been struggling as a blockchain. There hasn't been much news. They have the money to buy.
Whoa.
Really?
Sorry to cut you off. That's just
Yeah.
crazy. I just thought of something.
Hmm.
Say is the one buying 23andMe. I saw
Yeah.
this just last night on Instagram. It was getting a lot of traction and a lot of interaction because 23andMe, because they were going to zero, was
Yeah.
selling a lot of users' data. And this is not just regular
Oh.
data, it's DNA data. Because same
Oh
way that you go
no.
ahead and send it to ancestry.com,
Yeah.
your DNA to find out about your ancestors, that's the same business model with 23andMe. And so now, say a crypto blockchain company has acquired them and is getting all this DNA data that people sent in to find out about their families and their DNA. What are your
So I
thoughts on
guess
that? Damn,
not
that's
positive.
dystopian.
I don't think it's going to be enough to turn them around too. They're down 80% for the year. I don't think people that want their DNA also want that to be on chain. So, it's just like they're trying to force something that isn't working.
That's insane.
Mm-hmm. We will
So, what do
also
you
not
think
be
they're gonna
getting a
do with all
safe
that
partnership.
DNA? I
They'll
think
probably still
this can
continue
get
that as a
dark.
business. Yeah.
This can get dark fast, man. This can get dark fast because now I guess the business model there, 23andMe, I think they put a lot of value on just even having all that DNA because
Mm-hmm.
as we know, like data is the
They make the money
currency
from
in this
data. Yeah.
day and age. Exactly, data
Yeah.
is the currency in this day and age when it comes to B2B and stuff like that.
So you said they announced it last night or something, and then it dumped? Because this morning for me, this is a couple hours ago.
Yeah, man.
Or
Last
they
night
sold the news
here,
themselves.
maybe they
That's
sold the
possible.
news themselves. They got
That's
ahead of it. You know,
possible. Yeah.
insiders, they do what you want with that information, right? They do what they want with
This
that
is just
info.
speculation. Not saying they did that. Not,
Not saying they
don't
did
hold that
that.
on us. Yeah.
NFA Dior,
Yeah.
but but I'm saying from human nature, what I think, you know, it's survival of the fittest in the world of business.
Yeah.
Survival of the fittest. You're gonna do what you can with the information that you have. So we see a sharp sell off on 23andMe. You see a sharp sell off on Say. It's fishy to me.
It's
I'm
also
not touching
safe to
these for a little
say,
bit.
yeah. It's also safe to say we will not be getting a Say sponsorship because we did not talk positively about them. So that's another thing about content creators. If you talk negatively about a lot of projects, probably not gonna get sponsorships. But that's okay. We're here for you guys.
We're here for the people at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I feel like, to be honest with you, the right sponsors that pull up, we're keeping it 100 with our community. We're not just shilling nonsense, and that attracts the right sponsorships and so on and so forth. You know, a company that's buying and selling people's DNA. Is that really what you're trying to be doing? Is that really what you're trying to be doing there?
And that's not going to bring users on chain. That's not. I don't see anything that really says like, oh, this blockchain is going to grow because we did this. Like, no, that's a wrong
tell that
type
to
of
Sam
business.
Altman. Tell that to Sam Altman. He's taking our irises.
The WorldCoin. Yeah, nothing happened.
WorldCoin.
WorldCoin went way down. That was like a good short. Let me bring that up. Oh, it just keeps dropping. This, and just in the last day, down 10%. The last week,
the day.
But the year, it's 90% down on the year. On the year.
Oh man! And to all you top blasters on WorldCoin, the Sam Altman Glazers, it's not looking good at all.
Yeah, I mean, there's also potential to continue shorting. By the way,
and that's after being down 90%.
Yeah, so but it's not something I would touch. I think there's more opportunities in other coins for shorting or longing, but yeah, we will not be getting a WorldCoin sponsorship either.
No, but my strategy and my suggestion would be to short the pumps on this bad boy. Never catch a falling knife, as they say. Never catch a falling knife. If it's going down so hard, don't try and make a bet. But if it pumps, go ahead and short these pumps. Fundamentally, this is terrible. Let me tell you, WorldCoin actually got a bunch of fines, right, for breaching pretty much what was it? Just privacy regulations across over 10 countries because of WorldCoin's iris scanner going against sort of the laws of what was it?
All these countries.
Yeah, pretty much. Long story short, the laws of all these countries, the data and privacy laws, which some of them actually are still being appealed to go ahead and be overturned on being allowed to be run in some countries because it breaches a lot of the privacy laws across, honestly, most of the world, a lot of which turn a blind eye to go ahead and scan your iris and submit it in the way that they have it set up. I've done research on that. I launched a video earlier today with Coinsider that talks about that a little bit. And
guys, check out Josh on Coinsider. Talks about some coins he's shorting, and it'll give you a little perspective.
Yeah, just a little one too. If you guys trying to find more of me though, on King Capital rather. But shout out to Coinsider. We're gonna drop a good series soon. Yeah.
Or we'll just do React videos and you cut that up. That's a video.
Yeah, no, everything that me and Dan have been recording for the last few days. If you guys have been missing it, King Capital is gonna be pretty much doing a series on all of those episodes specifically. I'm trying to drop it chronologically, and you can kind of get like the highlights and the meat and potatoes of Dan and I's streams like this, and get a lot of stuff with me and him. Find that on King Capital. Coming soon.
Yeah, honestly, I think we've been navigating this market pretty well in the last month, even though everything's been red. So,
we have.
little insights. Now, we'll finish up with a couple more comments. Are you talking about Zeus? They just launched their ZBTC
Yes,
yesterday.
we
We were
are.
talking about
Yes, we
Zeus. Yeah,
are.
someone cut
Yes, we
that.
were.
Yeah. What happened to VRAM on Sweet? I think VRAM is launching soon. I bought into their pre-sale. I am in their community. I don't know
Me
what's going to
too.
happen with it. It's still very early. Obviously, it's just I want to support these projects, but we can't guarantee anyone making profit. But if we're early, that's a lot easier. But still, risky long term. I don't know if this guy's going to finish a marathon. It's going to sound bad, but we have to wait and see how people react to the product, how the product develops. So that's the risk you take when you're at the early stage.
Yep.
Are
When
we
you're at the
seeing?
early stage, you're taking on the most amount of risk, but that's also why you stand to gain the most amount of reward. And that's just how the game goes. I also personally have gotten the opportunity to meet the VRAM guy. They were at TBW. I see a genuine desire to finish that marathon. I see a genuine effort being put in. So I will say that
in his eyes.
he's got the hunger in his eyes, and he's got the energy to do it. But that's all I can say. The rest of it, you have to go ahead and do your own analysis, guys, and do your own research. It's like I'm not dropping the gavel on it for me personally, like saying like yes, but I like what they're doing there, and I'm keeping an eye on it, and I'm working with these guys in a little bit.
Yeah. So this is the thing we have to navigate as like early investors and content creators. Like, all right, I want to, if you're asking me about it, I'll talk about it, but I don't want to necessarily shill it and like promise gains. So it's like a very delicate thing we have to dance around because we want to provide you fair and unbiased information about what we're doing.
Well said.
So, Brand, are we seeing bull anytime soon? I'm gonna say no. I'm just like, markets look bad. Macro looks bad.
I'll give it to Q3. I think you got another cool. Yeah. So I think you got another cool, at least like 3-4 months of sideways action / downward action. Don't be surprised if you see a black swan event pop out. We saw Bybit early on this year, early on this quarter. We saw Bybit hack. A few different things. Don't hold your breath. With the war talks looming, we got tariffs, we got trade wars, we got all these different things. A lot of shakiness in the market. I'll say niche
such
down.
A minefield to navigate around right now.
Yeah. It's a true minefield to navigate around right now. Don't drink any kind of Kool-Aid left or right. You're gonna see small narratives pop out as we see every month, every like couple weeks, a new narrative is going to take place, a new hype. Like for instance, if you got into ticker symbol Ghibli, because the Studio Ghibli memes were popping off, you could have made 100x. Cool. If you got into routine, ticker symbol routine, the meme coin, over the Saratoga water guy, routine guy, you would have gotten 100x plus. Cool, right? That's a risky way to play the markets. You're gonna see these fads pop in and pop out as fast as they came in, as fast as somebody made 100x, somebody else also lost everything, right? So definitely just keep a keen eye. Try to read through the noise and read through all the debris to see what's really going on with the markets. I keep a good eye on macro. When we're not in a bull market, keep a close eye on macro. And yeah, do your own research and stay locked in. Don't get shaken out and don't drink Kool-Aid.
So I think we went over this earlier, but Gabby asked, could you ask Josh about IP? I feel like the VCs will pump story protocol heavy, just like TIA, then dump it all. I also think that they've been kind of holding the markets up with the story protocol.
Just like TIA was perfect. Yeah. Just like TIA is perfect. And you understand these VCs, trust me, they're far from stupid. They're far from stupid. They know that we're analyzing their tendencies. They know that some of the same old tricks that worked before won't work again. There is a such thing as diminishing returns that also play into the VC game, even though it seems like, there's these mystical characters behind the scenes. No one sees that, just dumps on everyone and just gets rich forever. There is diminishing returns, and there is strategies that go obsolete even within their game, right? So they're doing different things. to go ahead and make sure they're getting these huge returns on their capital. And you might have nailed it on the head there as far as, oh, they haven't dumped story yet. Oh, is this something real? There's psyops being played at all times in this market, at all times. And you have to keep a keen eye for sure. It's a VC token. Most of the exposure is controlled by them. They have unlocks. They have all these different things that got in at much earlier market caps that we get access to. Always keep these things in mind, right? Here for a good time, not a long time. That's that.
Now, I don't know about you, but me and my other content creator friends, we're always thinking, how do I protect my intellectual property? I wonder if there's a blockchain specifically for that and that I can pay money to because no one's going to steal that.
Right.
Well, yeah, as you've seen with YouTube, everyone just downloads it and puts it up. Intellectual property is not going to be protected if it's on another platform. So, that's going to be a struggle.
Yeah, and see with the Web2 giants worth billions of dollars, they struggle to keep IP proprietary, right, to the original creator and such like that, let alone Web2, which is decentralized, right? So be mindful of the Kool-Aid, be mindful of the smoke and mirrors, and keep a keen eye, as I like to say.
Yeah, like the routine guy. I'm sure he made no money off that meme coin. Like if he didn't launch it, someone else made money off him. That was his IP. You just can't protect it. It'll just launch on another chain.
Exactly. Pepe, right? You think of Pepe, the guy who, what's his name again? The guy who made the art from Pepe and Wolf and Brett and all this. I can't remember his name. But that dude who made all the art for all that, he didn't make any money on these memes. Unless he bought like just like me and you on the market. He's not behind these memes, right? It's hard to protect your IP. Some of the biggest coins out there were derivatives of something or referencing something, but these teams are just users behind the computer like us, making coins.
Yeah.
Right.
And we also have to think, what are they doing to make money? And you have to navigate around that.
Exactly.
All right. Almost done. Another thing to note, Capital One bought Discover, and I believe Discover Card is capable of making crypto purchases like Sui. I think that's possible, but I don't think it's going to drive any demand because there's already a couple like credit cards that white label crypto products. And there's some existing ones too, like the Coinbase debit card. I know Binance has one, BitGet has one, and it's just getting more common where it won't really
MetaMask
move
Card
the price.
too.
Yeah, MetaMask Card. So all these cards have been launching, but that's not driving any actual demand for it yet. And if it does, it's still long term. So we'll have to wait and see. So
I can't lie, I do like the MetaMask Card. For context, guys, I interviewed a member from the MetaMask team yesterday, and he gave me a pretty good breakdown on what the MetaMask Card is about and what it does. I will say I like it because it actually goes ahead and without actually, like, if you guys have used centralized exchange cards in the past, like pretty much you sell off your crypto and you have it in this like one like wallet pool where then you use the fiat from that card to go make purchases. No, with MetaMask Card, you make purchases, it automatically sells a little bit of your crypto, and then uses that fiat to go ahead and pay the transaction, and you're getting 1% cash back in USDC. I'm like, okay, that's pretty gas. But here's, no pun intended. But here's the thing. It lets you set parameters as specifically as you want them to. So let's say there's a coin that's been pumping crazy, or you only want to take from this coin, or you only want to take that coin from coins that are up on the day, or you only want to take from stable coins like just your USDC only, or you only wanted to pull from your Bitcoin. It lets you sort of have very deep configurations as to what's doing that. I don't even mean to shill. This is not even a sponsored piece at all. But I thought that was dope. One day, maybe. I thought that was dope. Or what they're going to make it to in the future now, even if you have a coin, let's say on, such an obscure chain when you're talking about like just like Web2 people, it would actually go ahead and bridge that, sell that, get the fiat and make that sale, but still all in one swoop and seamless like you would a regular transaction with the power of MasterCard. Right, of course, they got so much funds and all that stuff's happening in the background. I thought that was cool and pretty much novel. What do you think about? What do you think
Yeah,
about
that's
that?
pretty clean. I didn't know it was like multi-chain where like, all right, you can hold anything and it'll just sell it for you.
They're making it multi-chain. It's not like that from day one. At first, it's only on Linea. Funny enough, of course, because Linea is by consensus.
I lost that sponsorship already. There's no going back. There's no going back on this.
Because as I mentioned, Linea is owned by Consensus, the company behind MetaMask. So of course, to start off, it's only compatible with Linea, but they are making it like chain wide. Whereas if the gas fee is low enough, that's the one thing too. If the gas fee is low enough where it makes sense, then automatically does all the bridging, swapping, approving, selling, swapping for you, and then makes your transaction.
Now, following up on that, and then we'll end pretty soon. MetaMask Card rewards cashback is Foxy on Linea. Don't fade Linea, Dan. All right. Well, you guys are selling me on this. What is the transaction fee for the MetaMask Card? I would kind of assume 1% because I think that's what like their swaps are.
Yeah, I know you get 1% cash back in USDC.
Oh, okay. So that
don't drink the Kool-Aid on anything. Because if there's 1% cash back, there is a transaction fee on everything. There's a fee to everything. Nothing in life is free. Y'all got to remember that. And you have to remember sort of like facades and stuff like that. There probably is like a decent fee when it comes to like how it goes as far as. Okay, one thing I can remember for sure, definitely make sure you at least check out the video that I have with the guy. I don't want to misquote him at all, but it's cheaper than any card, and you're still getting your 1% cash back. But remember, all those transactions in the background that are taking place are still taking place on chain on your wallet, right? And are still being accounted for. The bridging, the swapping, the approving, whatever it might be. And they keep it, as he mentioned, only to the cheap chains because of how efficient that is and how cheap it can be for you, the user. So that's one thing to keep in mind.
Yeah, I mean, you spend like $5 on a sandwich, and like, oh, he has to go through Ethereum, and you spend like another $5 on gas, and like, you're gonna be mad. So
he mentioned almost exactly that example he mentioned in the interview as well. Pretty much, he's like, oh, like I'm not trying to buy a coffee. And then I paid for 4 coffees or whatever the case was that with that. But they assured it's not that's not the case, and it's actually going to end up being cheaper than the traditional means. So I thought that was very interesting. So definitely something to look at. And it's a metal card, nice weight to it. It felt like instead it gives the same vibe as like an Amex card, Amex black card.
Very nice, very nice. All right, so we've gone for over an hour and an hour and a half on my side. Any last thoughts? We'll close it up and we'll do this again next week.
Yeah, I think it's last thoughts. Definitely make sure you're tuning in with a show like ours. You know, we tap in at the end of the week and talk about what's going on in crypto, important things to keep your mind focused on, important things to stay cognizant of. And make sure you tune in to King Capital. Make sure, obviously, you're already tuned into Full Value Dan, Retail Radio, Coinsider, definitely for sure. And man, trade safe out there, trade smart out there, and definitely keep an ear to the ground on what's going on because crypto changes so fast.
Absolutely. Well said. All right. Well, thanks for hanging out. Thanks to all the viewers, and come back next week with some questions and we'll answer them. Well, thanks guys. 100%. See you next week.